Your initial reaction of Ohio State's win yesterday over there in Bloomington, Indiana.
It was painful, guys. I love the fact that we were more balanced. I think that's a plus. But the quarterback play was questionable at best. I mean, 2 of 12 on third down just isn't going to cut it. We had McCord out there looking like an average 3-star recruit rather than the 5-star guy that's been studying under Ryan Day for the last 3 years. He was short on everything early, showed some poor decision making. Hey, it did get a little better as the game went on. I will give him a little credit there. But you know what? We have 2 legitimate first-round receivers, Eric and Aaron, and they came up with 5 catches for 34 yards and no scores. That just isn't going to cut it. It was pathetic. And it wasn't even that the guys weren't getting open. McCord just wasn't delivering, especially early. That being said, I will say there were some positives. Rush game looked pretty good. I think we have 3 guys that could legitimately be number 1 running backs. The line had a few struggles at times, but you know what? They didn't give up any sacks. I'll take it. The tight ends looked pretty good. Both Gee Scott and Cade Stover. The defense showed a lot of improvement, I think, especially on the back end. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, but in all honesty, if we would have played Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Penn State, that team up north yesterday, we would have got it handed to us. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but I do see some positives.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on yesterday's game, my friend?
I tend to agree with Chris on this one. The offense looked pretty rough. The line, they weren't sustaining their blocks. They didn't look physical most of the game, even on run plays. Honestly, the whole offense just looked unenthused. They just wanted the game to be over, is how it felt. Maybe that's not how it was, but that's how it looked on TV. Especially considering it was the first game of the season. Like, you got to come out fired up. I mean, you really do. That sets the tone for the season. It does. However, I was impressed with the defense, just like Chris, just like a lot of people, especially the secondary. That made me very happy to see the way that those guys played, man. I'd like to see more pressure on the QB, but I'm not going to complain. The front 7 did their job. They did exactly what they should have done. They did it well. To be fair, though, Indiana didn't really throw the ball a whole lot. I think they had 21 passes for the whole entire game, and most of that came in the second half. So, all things considered, I feel like the front 7 did a nice job. Secondary did a very nice job. Now, I will say this. At the end of the game, I was happy to hear both Ryan Day and McCord admit that it was not a great game and that it was a good learning experience. They're not happy about what took place, and they're going to improve. So that gave me a lot of hope for the season, because if they had came out in that after game or that post game and been like, yeah, it was a good performance, the typical answer is there's things to learn, but they kind of went a little more in depth. We want a couple of those plays back. I'm pretty sure all you guys saw Kyle McCord throw across his body, and that was when he got the interception took place. So I'm not going to crap on Kyle McCord as much as we want to. It was game 1. You know what I mean? So the offensive line, they're going to get better. They need more game experience. We all know it's one thing to hit your buddies at practice. It's a different atmosphere away against another team. So let's dial it back a little bit and be patient. It's game 1. We're going to get this thing together. The defense is going to have to win us some games potentially if we don't get it together by Notre Dame.
So we all glamorize Tressel. At least I do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You have to.
Yesterday was a Tressel ball game. Mm-hmm. That's how Tressel won all the time. I mean, how many times did we go into football games in the 2002 National Championship game, and talent-wise, we were better than them, but we skated by. You all remember what the record of Purdue was before we beat them in the Holy Buckeye game? Wasn't good.
No.
It wasn't good. So I am not going to sit here and blow smoke up everybody's rear end and be like, it was great. It wasn't great, but it was game 1. It was game 1 on the road in the Big Ten. And for the most part, there were some things that I thought were really good. Secondary. Awesome. That's what we wanted to see, right? Yeah. Denzel Burke, how many receptions did Denzel Burke's guy get in that game? 1? I think
it was just 1.
I don't think it was more than that. Yeah.
Okay. They were picking on Igbinosun, who's I told you guys he was physical, and I told you he's going to get a targeting.
I like that kid.
Yeah,
he's tough. He's nails, man.
I'll take him.
So there is so many things about that game that I could nitpick, but I'm not going to, because I hear the ghost of Woody Hayes preaching to me this tonight. The most improvement a team will make is between game 1 and game 2, because now you have film. And this individual Facebook user must be watching on our group page, said the great thing is now they have actual game film to break down. Brighton Hartline needs to call plays. Day fixated too much on the passing game. Run blocking lacking. Should have ran circles on the defense. Speaking of defense, we really dominated. No big explosives. That's right. I think they had one play of 25 yards or 24 yards on a pass, which led to a field goal, and that was it. We had one U in check.
IU in check.
Oh, we had Indiana University in check. Okay. Yeah, so there's some positives to take away from this.
Definitely.
There's some positives. And as we were talking in the pre-show, I'm not so sure Indiana's not better this year than they were last year. Overall, they have a quarterback issue. Both quarterbacks were missing some wide open guys. But for the most part, our defense looks very stout. So that being said, it's time. It's time to give out letter grades. So here's what I want you all to do is I want you to put in the comments what you give the offense letter grade and the defense letter grade. Let's get this question real fast. Did you guys see Igbinosun's older brother who plays for Rutgers made nearly an identical play at the beginning of their game today, called for targeting and overturned? Quite odd. Well, here's interesting. Number one, I heard something about a relative. I didn't know it was his brother that played for Rutgers. That's pretty cool. Number two, I couldn't watch that game. I ended up rewatching the Ohio State game. I could not watch that. Beth Johnson says, "Thank you for not being all negative." You're welcome, Beth. You're welcome, Beth. Hey, man, here's the thing. Here's the truth about this as we get ready to give our letter grades. We're gonna watch every game this year, whether they win or lose. So we might as well cheer the heck out of them, right? I mean, that's what it's going to be, right? We can we can sit here and be angry about a lot of things. And for the most part, the things we were worried about this offseason are the areas of their weaknesses, okay? So it's not a big secret. If it wasn't a secret to us, it wasn't a secret to Indiana, okay? And it's not going to be a secret to Youngstown State next week, and it's definitely not going to be a secret to Marcus Freeman up there in South Bend, Indiana. So let's start with you first, Aaron, since you went last on the last one. You want to do offense or defensive letter grade?
Let's go offense because I got a couple of things that I wanted to point out.
Okay, so let me give the overall stats offensively, and then I'll let you give your grade. 237 passing yards, 143 rushing yards, 380 total yesterday. That's 5.7 per play, 23 first downs, 2 of 12 on third downs, 2 of 3 on fourth downs, time of possession, 31-55, and 1 turnover. Go for it.
So, Sarah commented, "I am so kind." She gives her son's 7th grade team more criticism than what I gave. Well,
this is true. This is actually true.
Here's where the criticism comes in, my fellows. Kyle McCord, you got to play with more confidence, man. He was underthrowing, throwing behind, missing throws, threw it so high that, Marvin came down on his elbow. Now, that's not entirely McCord's fault, but if you're going to throw a pass like that out of bounds, throw it out of bounds. Don't Don't have your star receiver trying to jump 12 feet in the air to make a catch, coming down to get hurt. All right. We almost saw JSN all over again. O-line, got to get better. Again, this is the positive side. They're going to gel. It's going to take some time. We were still switching guys around up to 2 weeks ago. So, you know what I mean? That's something that's going to get worked out. Wide receiver blocking has to get better. If you're going to run the ball, the wide receivers have to block. I saw several instances of Egbuka run into the second level past defenders. That's why Travion only had 3.9 yards per carry, because on whatever side he was running to, usually it was to Egbuka. Egbuka was going and looking for the safety instead of the linebacker. I saw in one play, 2 guys ran right by him, and he didn't bother to even shoulder check one of them. He just looked right past them. Stuff like that you have to fix. Again, no enthusiasm. We couldn't throw the ball deep because the line couldn't sustain their blocks. Now, granted, anytime you got 6 or 7 on 5, you're going to get overran. So that's partially on the coaching. But as far as the run game goes, the running backs themselves did quite well, all things considered. But anytime Marvin Harrison's held to 2 catches for 18 yards, that's a bad day. Cade Stover had a great game. I was very impressed with Cade Stover. He did great. I think for all the talk about Carnell Tate, I wasn't impressed. Was not impressed. So with that, and given the stats, Eric, that it was 2 for 12 on third down.
Yep.
C-. I expect higher than that. And I know it's game 1, and I know we're breaking in a new quarterback, but you're a 5-star quarterback, and it's starting to make me question, did Marvin Harrison make McCord a 5-star, or did McCord earn that?
Dylan Kuhn, our Purdue buddy. Sup, dudes? Thanks for taking care of those losers. I don't know how much a 23-3 score is taking care of somebody, but at least they started with that L, right?
It's a win.
Yeah. Facebook user says C+ on the offense. There we go. And an A on the defense. C+ on offense, A on defense. Aaron, what was your grade on that on the offense again?
I said C-.
C-. All right, Chris, your turn on the offense.
Yeah, I also went with a C. I went with a straight C, didn't give him the minus. But for me, I thought the running game was the highlight, obviously. McCord just looked uncomfortable, as Aaron was saying, was underthrowing virtually everything at the beginning. And when you hold 2 first-round receivers to 5 receptions for 34 yards and no scores, it's a problem. In fact, the one play that I thought of, I think it was Harrison's first target that he caught. Looked to me like it almost skipped to him, and Harrison looked more like an infielder taking a ground ball. We just can't have that. We can't have that kind of lack of production if we hope to win anything this year, especially given the fact that our best talent is on the outside, Eric. So for me, I got to go C.
You guys are a lot nicer than I am. I actually went with a D. So I mean, there's just. I guess this is the one criticism I'll give. You got to look like you care, dude.
Yeah.
Like, where's the emotion? Like, where's the fire? If you're going to be the quarterback of the Ohio State Buckeyes, you need to give a darn, and you need to act like you're the team captain. Even though you might not be the team captain, you are the captain of that offense. You're riding that ship. You're driving it, man. Show some emotion, show some fire. I don't know what it's going to take to pull it out of them, but I mean, if I would have been more understanding, I think, and more accepting, if I would have seen, like, after he threw a bad pass where he's mad, or something, nothing. And even we were complaining about that with Ryan Day. Ryan Day's showing some emotion. In that fourth quarter, when they didn't get the play in on time, and he called timeout before that, I read what he said. Sarah and I read his lips. He was not happy because they were looking down at their little cheat sheets on the play, and he literally said, "You don't know the play? Oh. That's not good, guys.
That's
scary.
Concerning.
Yeah. When he's yelling at him like that, dude. So we got some stuff to clean up on the offense, that's for sure. Defensive letter grade, Chris, I'll start with you.
Oh, you know what? I went with an A. I thought they played physical. I liked that a lot. Igbenogsen's going to have to be careful. We talked about it. He's a little handsy at times. Nearly got tossed for targeting right out of the gate, but I love that physicality. Would have liked to have seen the front four get home a little bit more, but decent overall, I thought, effort from them. The defensive line was disruptive. We did get a sack from Hero Canoe towards the end. Indiana converted less than 25% of their third downs. They also failed on both their fourth down attempts. The Ohio State defense limited Indiana to 82 passing yards on less than 50% completion rating, 71 yards on 33 carries, which was 2.2 yards per carry. Indiana only ran 53 plays in this game, Eric, and that was a total of 2.88 yards per play. That's solid defense. No matter what, that's solid defense. I would have loved to have seen more sacks, more turnovers, but you know what? It's hard to argue with that kind of production that the defense had. I got to give them an A.
All right, very good. Aaron, what was your letter grade for the offense yesterday?
For the defense yesterday.
Sorry, defense. Thank you.
It's all good. I gave him a B+. And the reason for that is, and maybe I'm being like ticky-tacky here, but I got to see better tackling. They're grabbing up high around the shoulder pads. That's not going to get it done against a team like Notre Dame, Penn State, that team up north. Not going to get it done. Those guys have much more power than what you're going to see out of somebody like Indiana, Youngstown State, schools like that. No disrespect to those guys. They're Division I players, and I understand that. But there's a reason that team up north, Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, there's a reason they have the reputation they do, and it's because they are big, strong, and fast. Okay? That's what separates the Indianas of the world from the Notre Dames, the Ohio States, and so on. So the tackling has to get better. You have to be able to get to the legs. They're going to run through you. That's what happens. And like Chris said, I wanted the front seven to get some sacks. Like, we got one sack at the end of the game. Like that, there was no impact plays on defense, really. Nothing that shifted momentum. I mean, it was just a very flat, unenthusiastic football game from Ohio State. I don't know that there was any like big hits necessary. There was one big hit that I could think of. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But, I mean, outside of that, there wasn't like a wow factor in this game. You know, I'm with you on that, Eric. There was nothing. Everybody was just even keel the whole game. Like, they couldn't wait for it to be over or something. I don't understand it myself. There was no pressure. There was no turnovers. And I was expecting, considering that Indiana was trying to break in a couple quarterbacks too, I thought there'd be a couple turnovers. But not only did we get no pressure, we got no turnovers. What is that? You know, so with that, I'm sticking with a B+.
What is that, he says?
Well, when the strong point of your team is the defense and they're not creating production, they're just doing their job, they're not doing anything over and above, that's an issue because the offense isn't getting it going. We had 9 points of our 23 were field goals, yeah, special teams. That's a problem.
Trestle ball. It was Trestle ball.
Dude, even Tressel's defense is Chris Campbell, anybody?
Very
Chris
aggressive.
Campbell, the defense won the game against Penn State. So, I mean, you know.
Let's look at these defensive stats real fast before I give you my letter grade. Only 82 passing yards allowed, 71 rushing yards. That actually is very impressive because Indiana came out running the option, which we talked about as a potential thing that they would do. 153 yards total. Yards per play, only 2.8 yards per play. Only 10 first downs allowed all game. Third down efficiency, 5 of 15. Fourth down efficiency, 1 of 3. Time of possession was about a minute and a half less, almost 3 minutes less than Ohio State at 28:05. 0 turnovers, like Aaron mentioned, which it was a concern of mine as well. But I gave him an A. And I gave him an A because I felt like, yes, this is Indiana. Yes, this offense is probably nowhere near what we're going to face in Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Penn State. Penn State looks good. Yeah. Team up north, But we saw the changes on the defensive side that we were all wanting. Yes, they need to get more pressure. They need to get home. This is something they're going to have to work on. I understand that. But I do like the fact that we look like we have cleaned up the defensive backfield a lot. They look good. So there's that. One thing I will say is that it's hard to get pressure when the other team never throws downfield. Everything was quick.
Yep.
I mean, that's
three-step
fine.
drops.
Yeah, but I mean, out of 21 opportunities, we got nothing. Wasn't even a pressure.
We got a couple.
Yeah.
We got
one sack. And we had one TFL. We had one TFL.
No. Styles had 1.5 by himself.
One TFL is like on the quarterback.
Yeah.
On the quarterback, okay? Where it was dude, I know Aaron, you're super okay. Aaron is a defensive guy.
There it is. Thank you. Yes.
We gave up 3 points to a Division I football team with 3- and 4-star athletes. Now I know they're Indiana, Aaron, but they get Scullies there too. They got NIL deals there too.
And they did well in the portal this year. It wasn't like they were fielding what we're going to see next week in Youngstown State.
I'm not saying that we just beat the 2021 version of Michigan State's Mel Tucker transfer portal team. That was like really good, okay?
But they were solid.
They're probably more on the 2022 Mel Tucker transfer portal team level there.
Yeah.
But we only gave up 3 points to that.
That's valid, okay? But I guess, I mean, even if you read did you guys read any of the articles today? I think they were released today about what the defensive players had to say regarding their performance. They said 3 points was too many.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
That's where I'm at with this. I need to see impact plays, turnovers, sacks. Like, I understand, like, maybe it wasn't sacks that needed. You know, I get it. 3-step drop. It was quick throwing, okay? A lot of option was ran. We discussed that. But if you're not going to get sacks, we need higher numbers in tackles for loss. If that's the game that's being played, tackles for loss then.
So Jay Thompson brings up a good point. Do you think the early options slowed down our pass rush? Were they like, hey, let's stay home. Let's make sure we don't give up a big run on the quarterback here. I think maybe the defensive ends were doing a little bit more read because you saw in the second half where they started to really rush the quarterback when they knew they had to pass, which wasn't – it got better. What that did, though, was it put pressure on the interior offensive line that got beat up by the defensive tackles in the second half is what that did.
Yes.
So,
and honestly, I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more. I'll tell you guys who did a nice job.
Let me answer this question, Brian Oberst. We had one recorded sack statistically. The other TFL on the quarterback was on a run, they said, so it wasn't counted as a sack. But there was only really one sack that was
which kind of gets me, Eric, because he had his arm up to pass. He was in.
I know. I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatevs, right? Like that was a pass play, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run." So it's not a sack; it's a TFL. Oh, whatever. Okay. What were you gonna say, Aaron?
Somebody I thought did a nice job on defense was Sonny Styles, helping defend that option. That dude was sideline to sideline all game. And I was impressed by his ability to read because he would force the pitch or he would snuff it out and run him to the sideline. He did an excellent job all day, I thought.
All right, let's hand out some Buckeye leaves real fast. We're going to go to the ability to let people call in. And so that's supposed to be on this show. We actually have a prize we're going to hand out here in a little bit. So we're interested to see who might actually call in tonight. I know quite a few of you in the chat who are chatting. So we'll see if maybe we can't twist one of your arms to call in here. Our buddy Jason Monk's supposed to call in, but he's driving home currently. So I don't know how good of his reception is in watching this on YouTube and doing that. So before we do this, guys, let me throw the instructions up for this call-in because this is what we're going to do as soon as we're done handing out Buckeye leaves and we have our commercial. Inside the chat, you will see a link that I'm posting right now. That link is the one you will use to call into the show if you're on your smartphone or if you're on your computer and you have a microphone and a video on your computer or a video camera. You can call in. It's that simple. If you're watching on your smartphone, you literally hit that link right there that I just posted in the chat window, and that will give you access to this show. When you click on it, it's going to ask if you want to use your camera and a check for your microphone. Bada boom, bada bing, you're in. We will pull you up when it's your time to talk. We want to hear from you guys. Click that link so that you can be the first one to call in. And the first one who calls in will get a Tommy Eichenberg football card. These are pretty sweet. They're NIL deal football cards. They're from they are from Onnit, which is a new football card or sports card company. This will come with it. You can order the whole set if you want. But I have a free Tommy Eichenberg football card I will mail to the first person who calls in tonight. So there you go. Buckeye leaves, guys. We've been doing this for a long time. It's a tradition of ours that we hand them out. Let's go ahead and start here with the offensive player of the game, Chris.
I was torn. I got to go Cade Stover. He just looked really well out there. He led the team in receiving yards. And you realize that on his 5 receptions, I believe every single one of them went for a first down. So I'll tell you what, I think that Mayan Williams, there was an argument for him, but I had to go with Cade.
All right, Aaron, offensive player of the game.
Well, you know what else is tradition, Eric?
Do not give out 2, Aaron.
Golly! All right.
Come on, we're on a time show tonight, Aaron. You can't do
this.
It's
week one. It's week one, but listen, it was deserving, okay? Cade Stover, absolutely. The dude was seeking out hits, all right? Dude was just being violent to be violent. I enjoyed that out of him. I'm going to miss that guy when he's gone. But the second one, Chip Trayanum. I have to give him credit. He looked fantastic. 8 carries, 57 yards, 7.1 yards per carry. When there wasn't anywhere to run, Chip found somewhere to run. No one else did that. So,
Aaron, do you remember what we said about Chip? He could be a fullback.
Yeah, he did.
Guess what? He was doing that.
Yes,
so
he did. Chip's a football player, man.
Yes, he is. Yeah. I mean, when you have an 8-pack like he does, my gosh, that dude is just a brick house. Chip was my offensive player of the game because I was not anticipating that. Despite what Kate did, Kate had a great game. So we'll give them each 2 Buckeye leaves there from us 3. That's awesome. Defensive player of the game, Aaron.
Oh, I went with Sonny Styles. And that's because I was just thoroughly impressed with his sideline-to-sideline play. He was a big factor in limiting the option. So I was pleased with him. I almost went with Denzel Burke just because I thought he was just really focused. I thought he looked like the Denzel of old, and I was just so happy to see that. But I'm going to stick with Sonny Styles.
Chris?
Yeah, I considered Steel Chambers, but I went with Sonny Styles as well. I thought he just had a great game.
Well, I did go with Steele. I think he led the team in tackles, if I'm not mistaken, with 6 tackles. He was textbook. Now, a couple of those tackles, he was holding on for dear life until Tommy Two Thumbs came and helped him out, and Sonny picked up the rest. But he was in place. He was in the spot to make the tackle every time, and I thought he did great there. So I did go with Steel Chambers as my defensive player of the game. Let's go with the offensive play of the game, Chris.
Again, I could have easily gone with a couple, but I went ahead and went with McCord to Stover, 49-yard reception. It was by far McCord's best play of the game, and I think it just showed what an asset Stover can be down the seam.
Awesome. That's the exact same offensive play I had as well. I think I love Farmer Gronk, or as we called him, Combine last year. I think he is going to be a problem for Big Ten teams this year. So, Aaron, what's your offensive play of the game?
Make it 3.
Beautiful. 3 for 3. I love it. Aaron, we'll start with you. Defensive player hit of the game. I ain't going to lie. This was hard for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so this made me happy, okay? First quarter, I think it was like 7.5 minutes in, roughly. they ran that option, and Josh Proctor came and laid the freaking wood. I mean, he turned that dude inside out. And just seeing, first of all, Josh Proctor back and playing meaningful downs, and then him to deliver that hit, a la the hit he put on what's-his-face from Wisconsin. Remember when a few years back?
Graham Mertz.
Oh, man. Yeah. He put Graham Mertz
He put Graham Mertz in Florida is what he did. He put him in Florida.
He sent his butt packing, man. And I mean, that hit just put me in the mind of that one yesterday against Indiana, buddy. That just made me happy. I was smiling.
Chris, what you got? Defensive player of the game.
I had the same one, Eric. I almost went with Igbenogson just because I think it set the physical tone for the game.
Yes.
The penalty one?
Yeah. The penalty that wasn't. And watch the footage. He hit with his shoulder, but
yeah. He also had one where he got a penalty for a late hit. Wasn't that him?
No, it was Ransom got the late hit.
Oh, it was Lathan Ransom with the late hit. I actually went with Sonny Styles on that one sweep in the second quarter where it looked like the guy was going to get the corner and he made up the ground and it was only a 1 yard gain. That's when I went, that dude's built different. He's just different than anybody else on that field. When he made up that much ground and took the angle he did, at first I went, oh, no, he's taking the wrong angle. Sonny's like, no, I'm not. I got this, Eric. You're fat and slow. I'm an athlete. I'm watching me do this. And he literally met that running back, and it was a 1 yard gain. I even think the announcers were like, whoa, like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, SEC speed, I'm like, guys, get out of here with that. They did so much SEC comparisons. Did you notice that?
I hated it, dude. Oh. I don't like Big Ten on CBS anymore.
That's CBS. I mean, that's what's going to happen.